Hi, very good evening and welcome to Thai PBS World Tonight. I'm Nabunag.
And I'm Hatay Shekitiranan, and good evening. I'm glad to say that, as you can see, we have resurrected the Thai PBS World tonight after a break, so we could focus more on our morning show.
And I do like the word resurrection though. So basically, we're back with the usual evening show, and you can catch us every weekday at 7 p.m. on our Facebook Live and YouTube Live as well. So kicking off the program tonight with this live stream that took social media by storm, as it is not often that we would see two famous monks on Facebook Live. And what's even more interesting is that this is the biggest gathering of admins from various Facebook pages who tuned into the live stream as well. So during the past weekend, the live stream of two famous monks, Pramaha Sompong and Pramaha Praiwan, was definitely a big event as they shared their religious teachings in a fun and amusing atmosphere, which attracted the attention of many young viewers. And we have to say that the live stream attracted more than 200,000 viewers, which is definitely huge. And what makes this live stream even more special is that many administrators from various Facebook pages, which includes top brands, media outlets, and celebrities, suddenly gathered together for this live stream. But it looks like some groups of people are not really happy with this live stream, as some of them believe that it is inappropriate and is also degrades Buddhism overall. And one of them is political activist Suwan Janya, who had filed complaint reports on almost everything. He has filed a complaint with the Supreme Sangh Council and the National Office of Buddhism. Another person is Suchat Usaha, the head of the Religion, Arts and Culture Committee, who stated that they will ask the two monks to explain themselves to the committee this Thursday regarding the infamous live stream. But he said that there is nothing wrong with the monks using the live stream, but they should also be aware of the criticism as well as the hidden product placements as well.
Well, honestly, I don't see anything wrong with that. We, for example, are doing a Facebook Live broadcast is not really the communication channels or the rather informal ways of doing things, but the messages that should count. So, but I guess this may happen in most religions, that everything has to be solemn and formal.
Right, but I would say that this is just a way to communicate with the young viewers, especially in this digital era, because we have to admit one thing, that people in our generation, we don't really watch TV anymore, and people still think that the religious teachings are only for older people. So that is the way to connect with the younger generation. And on top of this, these two monks have a very large fan base to begin with. So it is no surprise that if they decided to come up with a Facebook Live, they would gain a lot of views, plenty of views, as well as engagements as well. So what do you think about this issue? You can share your opinion in the comment section below.
Definitely do share your comments and opinions with us so we know what you think. And moving on now to the COVID-19 vaccine situation. So although the overall vaccination rate still remains low, with around 14.3% of the population getting 2 doses, it seems to have sped up a bit more now, especially as people are starting to get their second AstraZeneca doses, almost 3 months apart after the mass inoculations in early June. And to ensure sufficient vaccines, the Thai government is set to procure a total of 200 million vaccine doses for next year. So the Ministry of Public Health has announced plans to procure 200 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccines next year to prepare for more mutations of the deadly virus. Deputy Health Minister Dr. Sathit Pitutesha was answering questions from the Senate regarding vaccine procurement plans when he said the National Vaccine Institute and the ministry will procure at least 200 million doses next year as booster doses as they prepare for new developments of such vaccines and more mutations of the virus. So at the moment, they are in talks to procure more AstraZeneca viral vector vaccines, of which the second version is being developed. They're also in talks to procure Pfizer and Sputnik V. As for this year, Thailand has procured 124 million doses so far. So 61 million of which are AstraZeneca, of which 7.3 million will be delivered in September, 10 million in October, and 13 million each in November and December. And Thailand will also receive 31 million doses of Pfizer, 2 million in September, 8 million in October, and 10 million each in November and December. So the Deputy Health Minister also assured the public that this means that Thailand will receive enough vaccines as planned and that they will be used to inoculate people aged at least 60, those with any of these 7 underlying diseases, and pregnant women. He also said that the ministry will conduct proactive inoculations for people in those groups. So as of today, Thailand has administered about 36 million doses of vaccines. And so with AstraZeneca to deliver all the 61 million doses ordered by the end of this year, as initially planned, we will have more in the coming months, Kunat, and not to mention the upcoming arrival of Pfizer and Moderna mRNA vaccines. So things are looking a bit better.
Exactly, Kunatai, but we still have to admit that with only 14% of the entire population being fully vaccinated, like you just said earlier, we have to admit that the mass vaccination as well as the distribution really needs to speed up right now. And moving on to tourism, if we all remember the Phuket Sandbox scheme, which began back in July, where fully vaccinated tourists can enter the island. It has been just over 2 months now that the project has been up and running, and it has been reported that 1.6 billion baht has been generated from this scheme amidst the worsening COVID-19 pandemic on the resort island, where around 200 cases have been recorded in recent days. So according to Phuket Governor Narong Wunsiu, around 27,000 tourists have joined the Sandbox scheme so far. So most of the tourists came from the United States, the United Kingdom, Israel, France, and Germany. And with the increasing number of new COVID-19 cases, the governor admits that the Delta variant is hard to control and the medical sector in Phuket has reached a critical stage. Nevertheless, maintaining the Phuket Sandbox scheme instead of canceling it is the only way to keep the local economy moving. Meanwhile, Phuket recorded 241 new COVID-19 infections yesterday and 3 more deaths. And that brings the cumulative total in the province to 5,495. However, the provincial public health chief said that most of the infections are green patients or those who have mild symptoms or are asymptomatic. But the biggest problem right now is the bed shortage in hospitals, which is now at its critical stage to a point where field hospitals where they normally admit green cases, now they have to admit yellow cases as well.
Right. And some other provinces are trying to follow the Phuket model, Kunal, but due to the surge in COVID cases last month, many still haven't followed through with their plans. But Hua Hin seaside town of Prachuap Khiri Khan, for example, is aiming to reopen for foreign visitors next month from the 1st of October, of course, with some other requirements like taking constant swab tests as well.
Right. And with plans to reopen the country, the biggest priority right now is to inoculate people with 3rd booster shots, particularly in Phuket, where they plan to vaccinate at least 20,000 people from this Thursday. So mostly they aim to inoculate the frontline medics as well as frontline officials so that the Sandbox scheme can still continue, especially now it's the high season coming.
Exactly, and turning on now to politics and also education, as we reported a lot on the anti-establishment protests being held daily before. There was a bit of a pause, but now they are back and also spreading out at separate locations. For example, the one led by key red shirt figure Natawut Saikur is going to be held every day from today onwards near BTS Asok at Asok Sukhumvit Station intersection. The car mob rally is being held in parallel, while the more hardcore gathering of vocational students and alumni will still be there at Dindang. And another protest is being organized in parallel, but not on the streets, but by school students, where the Skip Online Learning Twitter campaign became trending on social media today. The campaign was launched by the Bad Students movement to reject the online teaching being applied in most schools across Thailand during the pandemic. The movement is urging students to skip online classes from today until Friday, so the whole week, in protest against the online teaching method, which it claims is ineffective and discouraging for many students who may not understand the lessons being taught and cannot ask their teachers for explanations. It also claimed that many students are not ready for online learning due to lack of learning tools, while several teachers themselves are not fully prepared as well. Some students tweeted that they were given too many lessons or too much homework, including group homework, with which they cannot cope, while others complained that they were forced to switch on cameras in their smartphones or laptops, so teachers are sure they're not really skipping classes. And almost 1 million tweets with the no online classes hashtags have been posted so far. So this is something that taking the internet by storm, how the young generation is making use of the internet to also make a voice for themselves.
Exactly. But speaking of online learning, which has been in place for around 4 to 5 months since the partial lockdown took place, it has showed a lot of problems behind the online learning, apart from the fact that we are using technology as much as possible, but we can see a lot of problems going on because some of the students do not have stable internet connection to begin with. And just like what the students said, even teachers are not able to cope with the new technologies as well. And there are other problems that they have raised in this protest campaign.
Exactly. So with technology, there still comes challenges as well. So it depends on how you actually using it, for example.
Exactly.
And with that, we wrap up this first edition of Resume Thai PBS World tonight. Do catch us like this on Facebook and YouTube as well as our website, www.thaipbsworld.com. And Kunat, you have something to update about our new program as well.
Yes, we actually have a new program coming up next Friday, September 17th, with This Week with Thai PBS World, where we will be giving you a roundup of events as well as exclusive reports and interviews as well. So don't forget to check out that show as well as our daily show on our Facebook Live and YouTube Live by Thai PBS World as well. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ